Today we have a 2004 Toyota 4Runner, and we're gonna change these brakes and the rotor. That's the disc here. And to do these brakes, you have to remove this pin and this caliper pin here. So what we do is first we'll pull out this little clip here, save it because you're gonna reuse it. Sometimes the brakes don't come with it. Save the bottom one also, and the brakes we do have, it did not come with it. So a lot of times this comes out easy. If it doesn't, you're gonna use a punch like this, and you can hit it in the back with a hammer like that. All right, simple as that. So you take this and you hit it, and the pin should slide out. Okay, so in the bottom you have this little retainer right here. All right, so you take out the pin. You see how that goes? You're gonna put it back the same way, and this goes in the bottom. What this does is it opens the brakes. So when you release the brakes, it opens the brakes for you. So we have both pins. This is a 4-piston caliper, and a lot of times these seize up if it doesn't go back on its position. It's a bad caliper. But before we take out the brakes, what I like to do is I like to compress these pistons. So what I'll do is I'll use this screwdriver to push the piston back in its spot. You want to do that now. If you have like a special tool, you could do it later on. That's no problem. Alright, so let me use it more force there. There you go. This piston is all the way back. Steering's turning on me. Let me try to turn it back. Alright, so let me do a little bit more, and then I'll do the opposite side, this side, because I want this to be flush, completely flush. So you are gonna need to use 2 of them. So what you do is you put one in this position, because you don't want that piston, because if you try to compress one side, the other side will come out, and you don't want that. Alright, so we got these nice and back to the spot that they're supposed to be in. I like to work on these one at a time. You don't want to take out the pads on one side, compress it, and compress the other side, because if you go to the other side, you compress the other side, this side is going to go back to its spot. So next, what I'll do is I'll remove this 12 right here. The reason why I want to take out that 12 is because this line does not flex. So you can't just take the caliper and move it out, because if you change out that rotor, you have to remove that. Alright, so, and you want to be careful with the other cable here, because that thing, when you move this is going to move with this. So what I'm going to do is take out this 12. Make sure you put this back when you're done. I'll remove this little clip back here, and let that ABS cable go out of the way. Alright, so I should have this loose just like that. Next, there's 2 bolts in the back. Those are 17 or 19. Let me go get the proper socket and we'll come right back. I'm going to take out the 2 bolts that holds this caliper up. They're number 17. One, and that's the second one. Alright, once I have that out, that's one. Oh, come on. That's 2. What I'm going to do is, I have my ABS sensor bothering me. We're going to go back a little bit. I'm going to put this 1 bolt back so it holds. I'm going to go get some kind of, either I'm going to take that number 10 out there. Yeah, I'm gonna take out that number 10 right there, up there. I'm gonna take out this number 10 because this whole ABS cable moves with it. Got this number 10 from up here, and that lets the ABS cable go because I was having an issue that, as you've seen, when I was lifting this caliper, the ABS cable was moving with it, and I did not want that. Alright, so now I have all the free play that I need. I can simply take this caliper and put it up here, and I can take my rotor and pull it out. Alright, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come right back. I'm gonna clean this hub right here, and then we'll put the new rotor on. Alright, so we have the new rotors. These are slotted rotors, and the brand customer brought me was a EBC brakes. This is something what he wanted. All right, so these are the rotors. You see that they got slots, and you always want to pay attention to the symbol here, left. The opposite side rotor will have the right, because if you put it the other way around, these slots are going to be the other way around. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to somehow, some way, by myself, get that rotor on there. So I got that rotor there, and we're gonna go back across now to this end. I'm going to move my light to this end also. And next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this caliper, and if you like, you can put a bolt here on the stud, so this rotor can stay straight like that. Alright, so this will help me keep the rotor in place. Alright, just like that. So this rotor is going to move a little bit. You can put another one on the other end, but that's all I will need, alright? So now I'm going to reverse the procedure. Alright, I had my line tangled, so I'm going to straighten it out. I don't want tangled line. And what I'll do is I'll take my number 19s, number 17s. I'll put them back in place. And I'll take my impact gun and I'll tighten these, both of these. And they're tight. Now let me see if I can move this whole mechanism to the side a little bit so we can see better. And I'll move my light to a little bit better angle. Alright, next, what we're going to do is, first, I'm going to put that number 12 back in this spot. Alright. Let me get that tight. Have that in place. Before I forget, I'm going to put that clip back in there for the ABS cable, and I'm going to put this number 10 back in this spot. And then I'll take number 10 socket and I'll tighten that. Let me grab my socket and a ratchet. You see my line here? It's nice and straight, meaning it's not twisted, like twisted. That's why I moved twisted my caliper, because when I originally had brakes, when I took it off, what I did was I twisted it up, and then I bring it back instead of twisting it back. So I untwisted it, so it should be nice and smooth like that, no curve to it. So this is tight, and I got the caliper tight on there. Next, what we have is the EBC brake pads. Alright, and some brakes have sensors like this one right here. So what you want to do is you want to put that sensor on the inside and the bottom. It really wouldn't matter if you put it on the top or bottom, but where I like to put these sensors is they go in the bottom, so I might have to switch them around. Let me grab the other one because that paddle will go on the opposite side. So if I put this inside, see these? I need these facing back. 'Cause a lot of people, they'll put the brakes backwards. You don't want that. Alright, so I'll take my brakes. They should go in there nice and smooth, alright? I'm gonna take these back out for one reason, because this is my friend's car. And I want to do everything as perfect as possible. And one thing I do want to do is I want to put a little bit of grease around where these pistons are. Just a little bit. You don't have to go crazy with it. Also, want to put a little bit of grease right where the brake pads are gonna slide. You could put the grease on the brakes themselves instead of putting it up here on the same spot that's gonna touch. But I like to put on the mechanism because once I grab those brake pads, grease is gonna get on my hand. So this brake pad goes here. This is the one without the sensor. See, there's no sensor here or here. So that goes in there. This other brake pad with the sensor facing down is gonna go here. So I have that there. Next, you want to clean these pins up a little bit. Alright? They don't have to be shiny, but you don't want no corrosion on them. You're gonna take one that goes on the top, and you're gonna stick that in there. And don't forget this little pin right here. This is the retainer. This should clip right in, just like that. Alright? So the next one, I'm gonna brush this one down a little bit too. These look pretty clean. They just have a different color to it. But I just don't want any corrosion on it. And don't forget, in the bottom, this little guy right here, this is like a spring for this car. So what that does is, it pushes the brakes out. You're gonna see. I'll show you once I have them in place. This goes in there. And you're gonna stick the bottom, and this is gonna sit right on the brake pad on both ends. Oh, let me go grab it. It's like a spring, so it flew out. So I gotta start over. This goes in this hole, this goes in this hole, this sits here, and that goes in there. You're gonna have to try to grab it and get it in there. And then what you can do is you're gonna have to align everything, and then you can simply softly tap it in the back end. And don't forget the little retainer that goes here. And that's it. And the brakes are done. Let me show you now. You see how this works? This little retainer, it pulls the brakes back. Alright, it works better when it's on the car, when everything's compressed. And make sure you pump your piston, that brake pedal, before you start up this car and put the car to reverse or forward, because this needs to go in and grab in before you even start. Otherwise the car's not going to have brakes till you are pumping it. By then you might hit something. So that's it. That's how you do brakes on a 2004 Toyota 4Runner. And these are the EBC brakes and rotors. And if you have a 2003 model, same thing. 4, 5, 6, even the newer models, they're the same process. And that's it, you're done.